Hi, we're the KinderJet family.
These are our crazy kids.
Traveling with them is expensive. They each need their own airplane seat, hotel bed. They insist on eating.
It's stressful. Must they go so close to the edge?
It's exhausting. These dudes have way more energy than we do.
So why do we travel with our kids? Because it is fun, rewarding, and always worth it.
Welcome to KinderJet. Here we go. On more than one occasion, we have wanted to escape the snow and cold of home, so we've planned a winter trip to Florida. The Sunshine State offers a lot of our family's vacation favorites: amusement parks, beaches, palm trees, and of course, sunshine. Any time of year, we find lots to do in Florida and lots of reasons to go back. It was a cool day, so the beach was out of the question. We were looking for an indoor activity where we could stay warm, burn up several hours, and maybe learn something. We took the kids to the Florida Aquarium in downtown Tampa. Turns out it was fun too.
Could have something to do with all the dolphins, sharks, clownfish, and grouper to watch. Look at more fish? And alligators and turtles and crab and birds. We could look at fish through this glass floor. I know, let's take pictures of fish.
The exhibits at the Florida Aquarium are organized according to water life locations: wetlands, bays and beaches, coral reef, and ocean. It seemed a bit overwhelming at first, but we just followed the path through each exhibit and found something new around every turn.
The diver show was included with admission and was entertaining and informative. Our kids were keeners sitting and standing right up front. Apparently he just had to get that shot.
Although our family was not in the mood to jump in the tank, the aquarium does have special programs where you can dive with the sharks or swim with the fishes. We were, however, willing to get our hands wet at the Stingray Touch Tank.
Once we coaxed the kids out of their shells, we just had to steer them past the gift shop and snack bar. Both looked enticing even to us parents, but we were on our way to dinner and not willing to carry extra stuff. We distracted them with cruise ships coming and going outside.
To get the kids even more engaged, take the time to check out the show schedules and work at least a couple of them into your time at the aquarium.
Everywhere we went in Florida, someone would take our family photo in front of a backdrop and try to sell it to us at the end of our visit. On this trip, our kids thought it was necessary for us to buy each and every one. Well, this was one place we stood our ground. Maybe if it was a photo of us actually swimming with sharks. Maybe. Highlight for the kids?
The jellyfish.
Learning about the fish.
The dive tank.
Highlight for the parents. On a trip that we knew would be full of theme parks and beach days, I liked the education factor, especially since the Florida Aquarium is dedicated to conservation and research. Where do you like to travel in the winter?
Anywhere warm, Hawaii preferably, because we have family there. So
We always
we
go to California as well.
in the fall, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, anywhere where it's
Like
warm,
here.
Mexico, Hawaii. Yeah, that's pretty much where we like to go.
Somewhere hot, but more realistically to family.
Yeah.
Winter, most of the time we like to go to USA because it's some cities they don't have, like Calgary. So most of the time Las Vegas, and my brother living there too. That's the most of part, and California.
Well, this is my first kid, but we are traveling to Ontario in a week, and that's just where family is, so it's easy.
Anywhere warm. Anywhere. Last winter we spent it in Australia for 6 weeks with both the kids. So anywhere warm.
Preferably warm. Usually Medicine Hat or Edmonton area for family and all that.
We actually don't usually travel in the winter. We don't like to drive with the kids, and my husband usually works most winters, so that's his busy season, so we just usually stay home. People come to us.
We all know it's true. Traveling with your family can be expensive. So what is a travel-loving family to do? Here are a few ways we save while still satisfying our wanderlust. Well in advance, we look for cheapest days, airline deals, and seat sales. Sign up for airline alerts about deals. Factor in luggage charges and plane changes. With babies, we flew direct but later at night. With older kids, we fly during the day with changeovers. Getting to go somewhere is the payoff, and flying at odd times with stops to save money is worth it. Try to find a place with space and a view. I like to enjoy spending time in the place we're staying. Consider sleeping arrangements before booking. Sleeps 6 does not mean you have the beds you may want to keep your kids and you comfortable. With younger kids, consider having more than one sleeping space. Vacation rentals are like a home away from home, and many are reasonably priced. A kitchen in our accommodation saves us money and is better for our family's health. One of the first things we do when we get to our destination is find the local grocery store. Our youngest still needs to eat almost immediately after getting up in the morning, so breakfast in the room is easy. And after a busy day out and about sightseeing, dinner at home is without the stress of tired kids in a restaurant. Don't forget to pick up a bottle of wine for mom and dad. It can be tough to make decisions about which things to do and which things not to do when on vacation. I try to look at it this way. What will my kids really love and really remember? That is what I spend my money on. Then, what will they really love and remember that is inexpensive or free? Also, look for discounts and deals for amusement parks and big attractions. We have been known to buy souvenir beach towels from the bargain bins at Target. We have picked up t-shirts at discount souvenir shops, and we've also walked out of Legoland with a giant bag full of Lego. The key to saving on souvenirs, like everything else, is planning. Decide where you will spend and where you will not. And have the kids save their money to spend while they're away. It's surprising how quickly they learn what is worth the money and what they really don't need when it's their money they're spending.
One of the reasons for this trip to Florida was the opening of the new Legoland in Winter Haven. We have the kind of kids who could totally skip Disney, but have scoped the location of every Legoland around the globe. So all plans revolved around Legoland Day.
Weather reports were consulted, traffic patterns were taken into consideration, bank accounts were emptied, sunscreen, hats, and water bottles were packed, and off we went to Winter Haven. Yay!
First, we loaded up on new Lego everything at the big shop, like we needed more Lego. The kids like to shop and would go nuts if we made them wait. There are lots of things available in Legoland that are not available anywhere else, even online, which makes it even more fun to shop there.
The older boys actually seemed to enjoy finding the rides and sites they'd seen a few years ago at Legoland, California. They loved the thrill rides and the rides that make you work. They even insisted on getting another Legoland driver's license.
For the little one, the rides that made him feel like he was driving and the ones where he can actually drive were the best.
Although there are several choices for food in the park, we had a hard time slowing these boys down long enough to eat. We ended up with hot dogs and chips on the way from one ride to the next.
No matter where we go, if we come across one of these ramps and an unlimited supply of Lego pieces, we will need to build and test.
Miniland USA is open a little later than the rides, so we strolled through this area last. These are some impressive Lego structures. We thought we were great brick builders.
We took advantage of every Lego-related photo op. We rode, and we rode, and we rode, and we had the time of our lives.
If you plan to shop, do that first and arrange to pick it up on your way out. We have done it both ways, and fighting the crowd in the store at the end of the day is frightening.
Although a 2-day ticket would allow you to take your time at Legoland and ride your favorite roller coaster multiple times, if you arrive early, you can easily cover the park in one day. Highlight for the kids?
The Blue Lego Technique roller coaster. Roller coaster. Driving the Lego car.
Highlight for the parents, the smiles on those faces. Legoland Florida opened a new water park since we were there. Wave pool, water slides, a Duplo splash area, and the Build-A-Raft River. It looks like you get to add large Lego-style pieces to your tube. Oh no, we will have to go back again.
How do you carry your camera while on holidays?
There are many options, and I've tried several of them. It really depends on how you like to operate. And that, of course, also means dealing with kids, food, and so on. The options go from nothing, to hand-holding your camera all day, to small camera cases which work well, to slings, backpacks, and bags, and even full-on suitcases. I used to just throw the camera on my shoulder and go, and while I still shoot that way, I now bring along a camera sling. Having the camera readily accessible is always my goal. This camera case works well, but it is a little small if you need room for accessories. What we liked about this one is that it does not scream, "Camera in here," which is a concern when traveling. From here you can go up to a sling, backpack, or a bag, which generally accomplish much the same thing. You can get many accessories, extra lenses if that's your thing, and personal items like cell phones, keys, sunglasses. I like the idea of the sling. It can hold my extras, it's on my back and out of my way, but I can quickly access the contents by flipping it around towards me. And from here there's the suitcases that are literally suitcases with casters, pull handles, and a lot more. While I use one of these extensively professionally, it is not really for me in vacation terms. If I'm going somewhere to shoot, this contains almost everything I need. Many lenses, camera bodies, filters, and more. However, on holiday, it's not what I want to be doing. This one is carry-on friendly though, and looks more like a regular suitcase than a camera bag. Having a case is good, even if its only job is keeping the camera safe from the rigors of traveling. I like my sling a lot. Daytona Beach, Florida, an hour from Orlando and Kennedy Space Center, 2.5 hours from Tampa, 4.5 hours from Miami. For those who love fast cars, it is definitely worth the drive.
I have to admit, I'm not a big racing fan, and yet this was my third trip to Daytona International Speedway. It was the first time for these dudes, and this little one, the real racing fan of the family, and he was not disappointed. I'm not sure I will ever be brave enough to take my kids to an actual race here, but touring the Speedway the week before the Daytona 500 turned out to be a good plan.
We've got some activity already in the garage area, and they're doing some work getting the finishing touches ready for this weekend's event.
We got to see them setting up and getting ready, and we also got to go behind the scenes. And the best part of all, standing right on the racetrack. We cruised around the entire track in a tour tram, imagining what it would be like to be driving at 190 miles per hour. On race day, these stands would be filled to capacity with excited race fans.
We tried. And tried. And tried to capture the steepness of the banked turns. Our guide told us that the cars need to be driving 190 miles per hour to maneuver these curves.
During our tour, we learned so many things we didn't know. Drivers are not allowed to cross the double line and advance their position. Trevor Bain was the youngest Daytona 500 winner, a mere 20 years young. This is where the drivers' meeting takes place before the race. If they don't show up here, they don't race. The end. Here's where the racers live for over a week.
A really huge fan can pay extra and be in the infield for the race, in the fan zone. Bands playing, a viewing deck, and windows into the garages are some of the perks of being in the fan zone. I think this is where I would want to be watching the race. We made it to Victory Lane!
Possibly one of the best parts of the tour, second only to standing on the start-finish line, was going up to the press suite above the stands. What a view! Oh, and here's what all the fuss is about.
Pay the extra for the all-access tour, which gets you onto Victory Lane and up in the press box.
Plan your tour at least a few days before a race and check the website for blackout dates. Highlight for the kids?
Standing on the track. Standing in Victory Lane.
Highlight for the parents? Standing on the track. Where do you like to travel in the winter?
Usually back east to visit my family, and then every second year we tend to do a kind of summer or sun vacation, like down south.
Caribbean.
Why do you choose there?
It's hot, warm.
Where do you like to travel?
Mexico.
In the winter, I usually go to anywhere with snow. Yeah. Any mountains are good. That's kind of what we have in Canada, right? So you got to take advantage of it while you can.
Someplace warm, beach, ocean.
Where do you like to travel in the winter?
Dominican Republic.
And why is that?
My little girl is half Dominican, so that's where we go. Yeah.
Start by telling you this. We've been to Florida 5 times, and we've been to Kennedy Space Center 4 times. The first time we brought the kids, we saw a shuttle launch. Even though shuttle launches are a thing of the past now, we went back and enjoyed it here as much as ever.
We start off on the bus tour, which takes us to secure areas that are not accessible to the public any other way. The regular bus tour is included with admission to the complex.
The first stop on the bus tour is the LC-39 Observation Gantry. We walked up the stairs to the top and got a great view. We were there on a day when a rocket was set up to launch and we could see it from the top of the gantry. It sure is windy up here.
Along the way, we drove past the Vehicle Assembly Building, where the shuttles and other rockets have been prepared for launch.
We also drove by the Space Shuttle Explorer, which used to be set up at the Visitor Center. The kids and I toured this 4 years ago when we were here. They have now retired it to this spot as they are building a new visitor area for the Space Shuttle Atlantis, which was the one we saw launch 4 years ago.
The second major stop on the tour was at the Apollo Saturn V Center. This was a highlight as there is a full-size Saturn V rocket hanging sideways from the roof, so you can see each stage, how it goes together and comes apart. The kids got to touch an actual moon rock.
In this building there is a big cafeteria with overpriced pizza and slushies the kids cannot resist. we left there with 3 large red collector cups that will forever take up space in our kitchen. There are also a couple of really well done presentations using video and real-sized props to explain the story of the moon missions. By the time we got to the last movie presentation, the kids had a hard time sitting through it. Mom and Dad, we loved it.
This one makes you feel like you're in the control room during a launch. This one makes you feel like you're watching a moon landing. The Kennedy Space Center sits on protected land, which means there's always a chance of seeing wildlife.
This is where Atlantis will live. An excuse for another visit to Kennedy? Yeah, like we need an excuse. When we were done on the bus tour, we began exploring the visitor complex on our own. And the first thing we came across? The shuttle launch experience. It's a huge simulator that takes the riders on as near a real launch into space as possible without being an astronaut.
Hey, how did I get elected the ride parent? Paul was the observing parent who hung out with this child, too short to ride. We had to stand in line just long enough for me to second guess this decision. Oh well, here we go.
Now remember, at 6.6 seconds your main engines will ignite. Then the shuttle will twang. Then the SRBs are going to light, and you are off. You're clearing the tower. All engines look good.
It was awesome! Survived the launch experience. Now it's time for souvenir shopping and playing in the Space Climbing Dome.
We spent the remainder of our time standing next to the rocket garden, which is also really cool, waiting for the rocket to launch. It never did. It came down to the last 1 minute 15 seconds and then they scrubbed the launch. Upper winds were too strong. Oh well, even without a rocket launch, we were very excited, happy, and satisfied with our Kennedy Space Center experience.
Again, we've now scrubbed. The countdown clock stopped at 1 minute and 15 seconds.
We will definitely be back again because me and the little one need to experience the Space Shuttle experience. Check the Kennedy Space Center website for a rocket launch date, but know that it could be, and often is, scrubbed. Highlight for the kids?
The Space Shuttle Simulator! Space ice cream!
Highlight for the parents? Mission Control.
The more we travel with our kids, the easier it gets. The good usually outweighs the bad, and the rest will, one day, make us laugh. Every family and every trip is unique. Different things work for different kids at different ages. All parents have stories to tell. Share your family stories, tips, and advice on KinderJet.com.